D-Hop is on the market, Cole. He's available. He's a free agent. He can go anywhere he wants. And there's a lot of teams that can use his services. We've heard the Bills. We've heard the Chargers. We've heard the Kansas City Chiefs. We've heard the Cleveland Browns.
There it is.
Where do you want D-Hop to land?
Come on now.
I know you're a Steelers fan. You want him to be with Kenny Pickett.
Don't do that. Come on home to Cleveland, man. You already know what it is. Come on home to Cleveland. The quarterback already here.
To throw me the ball the second part of my career?
Oh, that's a good question. I would have to say one of my favorite quarterbacks that I've been watching since he came in the league is Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he reminds me of an old school.
All right, though. Can we imagine? Like, I think that the whole him to the Bills thing is a little underrated. Because could you imagine on one side, Stephon Diggs, on another side, DeAndre Hopkins, and somewhere running around out there, Gabe Davis? Like, Josh Allen might never have to be accurate again. He got all the catch radius guys. Like,
man, like an offense that's already like pretty spooky would get real scary if they had DeAndre Hopkins. Still can't run the ball. Might not have to.
Look, might not have to block. All Josh Allen gonna do is Ted Hook. Throw. Go ahead and get it, man. Go ahead and get it. Because I promise you, the ratio of Josh Allen highlights will go up because Josh Allen will be out there just throwing up some crazy footballs. Like, that's the dude who, if you want to watch some good DeAndre Hopkins highlights, get him with Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen is going to give him opportunities to show that he's still DeAndre Hopkins, because he's just going to throw that thing up. I kind of wanted to see what Odell would look like with Josh Allen, because, like, I want to know, can Odell jump like he used to? Because Josh Allen would make sure that we find out. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Josh. Josh is not, like, inaccurate, but he does give you chances on balls that other quarterbacks would not dare to.
I need DeAndre Hopkins to come to Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry. I need it. I need him to come to Cleveland Browns. I need him to say John Watson in the Cleveland Browns. I need it.
It could happen. It could.
Or of a new school Andrew Luck.
And
I love Josh Allen.
He called him new school Hurts. Andrew Luck.
How disagree with that?
Make you feel?
That makes me feel. Makes me feel extremely old. It's also not the most accurate comparison.
Josh Allen is cold. He's not Andrew Luck.
He's not Andrew Luck.
No.
He's not Andrew Luck.
He's not. Andrew Luck is so
that man was special. That man was special.
Look, here's the one thing about Andrew Luck. Shout out to Skip Bayless, but he had the clutch gene. You know what I mean? Like, he had that clutch gene.
Houston kid, your dog, Jalen. Number 3, who I would love to have a ball thrown by, Patrick Mahomes, obviously.
Ooh,
number 4, I'm gonna have to go with. I gotta go with the underdog, man. The people, not a lot of people respect this guy.
Oh my God, he's about to say Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
he got to go with the ultimate underdog.
As a throwing quarterback, Lamar Jackson, obviously.
Dog, calling Lamar an underdog is crazy. Like, how do we let this happen? How is that a feasible thing you can say about a former MVP?
Youngest MVP in NFL history is underdog. But shout out to him for saying he's a throwing quarterback.
That's the through line through today's video recording session. Dog, we really be doing Lamar Jackson dirty, man. Like, it's not the people playing football that underrate Lamar Jackson. It's not the people preparing the players for football that underrate Lamar Jackson. Nobody involved with the product that we see on the field on Sunday underrates Lamar Jackson. But do you know who does underrate Lamar Jackson? Owners, fans. That's the two people. It be the dudes at home that be underrated. The men and women at home be underrating Lamar Jackson. That's what be happening with him. Everybody else be like, nah, dog, he's great.
Like, have you seen Lamar play?
Myles Garrett sacked him during a rivalry game and had to shake his hand because he's that cold. Like that's
a good question. Number 5.
Dak Prescott.
I like Dak Prescott.
Any of these young rookies that stand out to you?
Why is he a Cowboy? Why would you bring up Dak? Why would you bring up Dak?
Why you bring up Dak? Don't bring up Black Kirk Cousins right now.
I know, right? He out here talking about Lamar Jackson being underrated. You gonna bring up Dak Prescott. And look how undermoved DeAndre Hopkins face is.
Dak Prescott.
Number 5. That's a good one. That's a good question.
He like, dog, I just been in with Kyler Murray. You want me to downgrade from Kyler?
Come on now.
Dak Prescott.
I like Dak Prescott.
Any of these young rookie quarterbacks?
Hey, you see it? Did you peep it? Did you peep it?
He tried that. No.
he tried to stop himself, and he's like,
look how hard he's scrunching his face together so he don't laugh.
He was like, oh,
Dak.
Why would you even bring that up?
Like the same Dak that lost to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper played with Jacoby Brissett for most of the year. He had a career year with Jacoby Brissett, but not with Dak. That Dak. He like Soulja Boy at the Breakfast Club. Dak. Dak can't win in the first round. Dak.
He wanted to be like, hell no. Might as well stay where I'm at.
Dak.
Number 5. That's a good one. That's a good question. Number 5.
Dak Prescott.
I like Dak Prescott.
Any of these young rookie quarterbacks stand out to you? Do you want to catch a ball from a young player? Are you past that point in your career? Like some guys out there.
Yeah, I'm past that point in my career. But I heard that the quarterback we got from Houston is pretty good. I like him. My grandfather was sending me his highlights on YouTube. But my number 5 quarterback.
Hey, he is so South Carolina, man.
Like, he is.
Like he was clearly a local recruit for Clemson. Like they did not have to go far. Like my grandfather sent me the highlights of CJ Stroud. like CJ Stroud played at like South Carolina State. Like, no, dog. CJ was on national TV. He played Georgia in a bowl game this year.
Hey, country dudes, it always come out whenever they start.
Whenever you see somebody from the South and they did not play in the SEC and they played either in the Big 12 or the ACC, those are different dudes. You know what I mean? Cool dudes, want to be left alone dudes, but that's different than what you expect. Like them dudes is country. And country is different from the South. It's much different. DeAndre Hopkins is country.
That's a country man.
You know what I mean? That is a man who has a ranch. Like that is...
But my number 5 quarterback,
that's nuts.
There's some good quarterbacks out there that's young and good. I'm gonna have to go with my dude in San Diego or the Chargers.
Herbert.
I don't think he got internet at the house, man.
Yeah, he said San Diego. They been in San Diego in a minute, dog.
Low key also did not know who Justin Herbert was. Just knew he played for the Chargers.
My dude in San Diego. Oh, the Chargers.
DeAndre Hopkins 100% has the same laptop he got in college.
Hey,
a bowl game.
Hey, DeAndre do what I do, and I don't know what people say. Like, my dude.
Oh yeah, my guy from he played for out there. Yeah. You know him? Yeah, that's one of my favorites. You know,
my God, that's the homie.
But he put that work in, like. So that's who he said, the quarterback said he would want to play with in the second half of his career. Deshaun Watson not on that list. I think it's because he already played with Deshaun Watson. I mean, it's kind of there's an obvious relationship there. Realistically, if we're putting everything aside and you're DeAndre Hopkins, what appeals more to you? going back to Deshaun, even though Deshaun, he's coming off of this long injury or long hiatus. He might be rusty on a new team, but it's still like, you know that you had the best years of your career with Deshaun. You look at that roster, it's cool. We got to be realistic. I know we Browns fans, but if you're DeAndre Hopkins, it is the Browns though, right? Like, stuff just don't be going right over there. But my boys over there, it looked like a good team. That seems like somewhere I want to go. Or do you think he wants to just get something new in and maybe go for a better bet in his mind, which might be the Chiefs?
My thing is this. You can never go wrong with playing with Patrick Mahomes. Like at the end of the day, even though we are Browns fans, even though I would like to see him play for the Cleveland Browns, you can never go wrong with playing with the best quarterback in the league. Especially when there's no clear-cut number one wide receiver. Like he would be the clear-cut number one guy if he went there, in my opinion.
Well, here's also the thing. There are two tiers of teams here. There are teams that will offer him market value that he'll consider, and there are teams that will need him to take less than market value to be on their team. The Chiefs are on the less than market value side. I think the Browns are a team that can't really afford it. And that, like, any team that's paid their quarterback a significant amount, probably not there yet, right? I think that Justin Herbert, they haven't had to pay him yet. So he's on the other side of that list. You look at the other side of that list, now you got Baltimore. I think Baltimore's likely or not. I think it's close to, they're probably in the top three, the more I think about it, right? He likes Lamar Jackson, probably won't have to take a pay cut to play there. And they have a good enough team to where you could really believe that they could be a Super Bowl contender. Cole, I forget, they made the playoffs without Lamar Jackson for the last 6 weeks of last year. We talk about that as if it was a negative for Lamar. Think about that. They almost beat the Bengals if it weren't for a fluke fumble.
For real, they should have won that game.
And the Bengals are good. Like, that's going to be a really good team if they get that offense together. They got a lot of ifs about that offense, but that's going to be a good team. I don't know if he wants to play in the Todd Monken system at his age, but it might be something he considers. So when you look at those two tiers, that's why I think it's hard to think that he's going to be on the Browns, because the Browns are on the tier that can't pay him as well. They aren't if you're DeAndre Hopkins, would you feel better about being with Lamar and the Ravens, or would you feel better about being with Deshaun and the Browns? I think it's pretty much even at that point. And if the Ravens going to pay you, because at least the Ravens made the playoffs. Like, the Ravens were good last year. All that happened was Lamar got hurt, and then the season kind of fell apart. But even then, they still kept it together enough to get to the playoffs. With the Browns, I think they're going to be really good this year. But they were 7-10 last year, right?
They were.
And
you could explain that and like rationalize
but
why they were 7-10.
The Ravens don't got to explain that, right? The Chiefs don't got to explain that. The Chargers don't. They got to explain. They got to explain how they gave up. They got to explain to Trevor Lawrence.
They got to explain something.
But the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens have nothing to explain to him. And I think that's why if the Ravens really have a situation he likes and they can pay him, I think that's where he goes, the more I think about it.
I don't disagree. The whole thing about trying to get him on the Browns, and this is the thing, the money really isn't that big of an issue. Because if you look at like how much long-term money they actually have, like tight end, it's not really a lot. If they really want, if there was a number that he was set on and they had to like clear money to make it happen, they can restructure Miles' deal and make it happen if they really, really, really wanted to do that. But it would be more so it's this. How badly do you want to be a Cleveland Brown? Like if the Browns are his number one destination, I want to come back, which to me hinges on basically this. I want to play with Deshaun. Like I want to come back to the guy who I had the best years of my career with. I'm familiar. There's chemistry there. If me and him are together, and if he gets back to the quarterback that he was when he was with the Texans, the Browns are going to be really good anyway. And if I come there, maybe they could do something. That would have to be what he wants for it to happen. And if you're the Browns and that's what he wants, then obviously you do what you got to do within reason to make that happen. But if that's not what he wants, he should probably go to either the Ravens or, in my mind, he might want to go to the Bills, to be completely honest.
I think the Bills would be a great fit for him. I think Kansas City makes sense because it's Kansas City. I don't think that's the best place for him because they run a lot of four vert. That's never been his thing, right? He's more been an underneath, 10, 20 chunk guy, get some 50-50 balls in the red zone. You don't really need that when you have Pat Mahomes, but you can live without it. I don't think they really go that hard after him. The Ravens need a guy like him.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills could use a guy like him, right, to take some pressure off of Diggs and free up Gabe Davis. And I think if you're DeAndre Hopkins, I'm thinking those are the two places you can put up the best numbers is Buffalo and Baltimore. Cleveland, there's not really a clean fit for him on the roster, but it is Deshaun Watson. But also, you got to think about it. Like, Coop's going to be there. They really want to work in Elijah Moore. Am I going to be a glorified number two? At this point in Cleveland, does it really make sense? Or are they going to flip me to one and flip Coop to two? Even though Coop was a little bit more productive last year, and then how they going to fit into Elijah Moore? It doesn't slot in as clean as it does for the Bills, where you can see obviously where that's going to work for them, or the Ravens, where you can see where that's really going to work for them. And with the Ravens, it's just screaming out loud, like, yo, you should probably go here. Like, that's where the arrow is pointing to me. It's like, that's the team where if he goes to the Ravens, he's the number one receiver. He's the number one target. You got a guy like Lamar who can get the ball up and give you some 50-50 balls, give you some chances to do things. And, he's going to take so much attention away from linebackers that he's going to clear up your area of the field where you run your best routes. He's somebody who can get you the ball quickly. Also somebody who likes to throw it up on, like, red zone situations, right? You can run the ball with JK, you can run it with Lamar Jackson, or you could toss it up to either Mark Andrews or DeAndre Hopkins. There's going to be a lot of room for success there on that offense if you use those guys correctly. So unless he meets up with Todd Monken and just does not vibe with that situation, and that's a possibility.
I was about to say that's a possibility. It can happen.
Todd Monken is not who Raven fans want him to be. Like he has a decent reputation in the league, but there are definitely some guys who don't really vibe with how he gets down and how he runs that offense, especially with this work in the NFL. Unless that's the case, I see him going to Baltimore. That makes the most sense. And then Buffalo, but you got to really want to be in Buffalo to play in Buffalo. Because remember, it's cold, man. And he played in Houston and Arizona. Right? Like, that's another thing we're not thinking about.
Played in Clemson in college.
You know what I mean? Like, he might end up going to LA because at the end of the day, it ain't that cold, dog. And they play in the AFC West, in the NFC West. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be cold. Everybody got a dome in that division, except for the Seahawks who play on the West Coast. So I just don't see it happening. Like, only team I can really make it make sense for him to go somewhere like this is probably Baltimore. But, we'll see where it plays out. Hopefully he comes to Cleveland. Get another big view. You know what I mean?
That's what I need.
I would appreciate it, but I don't think it's happening.